Hey guys, welcome to Pretty Talk, the place where we talk about stuff people think but don't always say, especially when you're perceived as pretty, feminine, or you just have a presence that people love to assume things about. This podcast is for the girlies who feel misunderstood, misread, and misjudged just for existing. If you've ever walked into a room, said nothing, and somehow you still offended half the people there, then yeah, this one's for you. So let's talk about it. Why do people get so pressed? Why is silence offensive? Why do people feel personally attacked when someone chooses to be quiet? Especially if you're attractive. The way that people start spiraling if you're not overly chatty or a people pleaser is wild. And here's what I've noticed. When you're quiet, a lot of people assume the worst and not the likely reality. It's just instantly, she's rude, she doesn't like us, she's stuck up, and not maybe this person is shy, tired, or has social anxiety or whatever. It's just instantly, oh, what's her problem? Like, no, everything is not about you. Let's get real here. People genuinely feel personally attacked when someone chooses to be silent or reserved instead of performing to appease their ego. And they do this because they're projecting their insecurities onto you and they need external validation to feel okay. And if you're not actively feeding their ego, then you must have a problem with them because to them, everything is about them. Now, let's add in the factor of being attractive because this makes it worse, actually. If you're quiet and considered conventionally attractive, now you're really in trouble. Suddenly, your silence is an offense, a statement, a declaration of war. It's like, how dare you? So, you mean to tell me I have to tolerate the fact that you look good and your silence? You want me to go out of my way to talk to you? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Like, people really think this way, and it's absurd. They expect you to be sweet, bubbly, humble, and accessible at all times. You're not allowed to just exist. You have to coddle egos, make them feel safe, make them feel chosen. And when you don't do that, they feel irrelevant and inferior. And people hate feeling that way. And so when people feel this way, they try to regain social control by assuming that the problem is you and not their discomfort and their insecurity. They punish you by labeling you things like stuck up, mean, or standoffish. And I have literally lost count of the amount of times that people have said to me after actually getting to know me, oh, wow, you're actually really nice, or I thought you were mean. I remember I had a girl tell me this, and when I asked why, she said, I don't know, most pretty girls are mean. So I have to prove that I'm not a villain because you watched too much TV growing up. And what's wild here is I've been on both sides of the coin. When I've been more bubbly, talkative, and smiley, trying to make everyone feel comfortable, I got labeled an airhead. People thought I was dumb. They thought I was ditzy. They would say these things behind my back and even imply it while in conversation with me, and it also showed in their actions. People would talk to me like I was stupid or a small child. Either way, there's no winning with people, so I'm going to do what's comfortable for me at the end of the day. When you're quiet, you're stuck up, but when you're friendly, you're fake or you're stupid, and people also take that kindness for weakness more often than not. The common thread here is projection, and I honestly feel like people take me more seriously being more reserved. I don't give people my personality up front anymore. They have to earn that from me now. If I had to choose between being a silent bitch and a bubbly dummy, I'm choosing silent bitch every time because I'd rather be underestimated than disrespected. And just to double back to when I said people grew up watching too much television growing up, that's not the problem. The problem is ignorance and cultural conditioning because if you think about it, we grew up with all these TV shows and movies that consistently played out these stereotypes that the pretty girl is outgoing, mean, rich, bubbly, ruling over groups. We had characters like Regina George, Cheryl Blossom, Massey Block, Sharpay Evans, and so on and so forth. So the moment people see someone who is quiet and attractive, their brain kind of short circuits and they're wondering what's wrong with you and why you aren't acting like these characters, these influencers, these celebrities. They can't understand. They literally do not have the framework for understanding a pretty girl who is just reserved or has social anxiety or just silently enjoying the moment. It doesn't fit the universal narrative or stereotype. A lot of people never grow out of this mindset and were not taught emotional nuance. They weren't taught to ask questions or check their assumptions. They were taught that the media equals the truth, that stereotypes are real, and that if someone doesn't immediately appease them, then they're the enemy. And so I recently started a new job maybe like 2 months ago, right? And when I tell you it was such a problem for my coworkers that I would just come in, keep to myself, and do my work, everyone was offended. Everyone had a comment. Everyone had an assumption. And they still do. And guess what? I'm still quiet. I don't owe anyone a conversation or a performance. And sometimes they'll still make comments in passing when I'm walking through, and they'll say something like, oh, she has an attitude, or oh, she's too beautiful to speak to us, all because I mind my business. I literally had a male coworker old enough to be my father livid because I would not give him conversation. I mean, he was turning red, he's slamming things, he's talking crap about me, saying I'm stuck up, all of that, right? And don't get me wrong, like I'll come in and like I'll say hello and everything, but I that's about it. Like if it's not about work, I just feel like we don't have anything to talk about. And apparently that's a problem. It's a problem because I choose to be quiet, have my headphones in, mind my business, and do my work, which is all I'm required to do, actually. But apparently that's offensive. And so I have this other male coworker, and he literally said to me, I don't get how you're just content coming in, staying quiet the entire shift, listening to your headphones. And sometimes he'll even mock me and he'll be like, oh, are you listening to your audiobooks? That's so boring. Because I told him that I listen to audiobooks in my headphones. And he said that that would drive him insane. And so I said to him, well, I'm comfortable in silence and solitude. Are you not comfortable in yours? And he pauses and he goes, honestly, I never thought about it like that, but I don't think I could ever be alone and quiet with my thoughts like you can. That sounds weird and scary. And there it is right there. That's when it hit me. A lot of people aren't even reacting to you, they're reacting to what your piece reveals about them. Your comfort in solitude exposes their discomfort in their own mind and their solitude. Your silence makes them feel like they don't exist, and that's terrifying to people who rely on external noise to distract themselves from their internal chaos. And now I want to jump into why this even happens. Here's why. People crave control and clarity, okay? Your silence, your stillness, your solitude, it disrupts that. They can't figure you out, so they write their own narrative, aka projection. And let's be honest here, most people are not emotionally intelligent. Even I still have learning to do. But these people were never taught to sit there and think maybe this person is shy or overstimulated or has to warm up first. No, it's just instantly, she doesn't like us. She thinks she's better. She's mean. She's stuck up. Or my favorite, oh, you just want people to talk to you first. I get that a lot, actually. And honestly, I could literally care less about who talks to me first, last, or at all for that matter. Instead of approaching people with curiosity, they approach with entitlement and assume that they are owed access to you, your friendliness, your validation. And when they don't get it, their insecurity kicks in, and so does their ignorance, the projection, the assumption, and the judgment. And I bet you're wondering, well, how do I deal with this? And the answer is you don't have to. So stop over explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You're allowed to be quiet. You're allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to be reserved. You're allowed to have boundaries. And these things upsetting people has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Not everyone deserves access to you in your inner world in the first place, especially not people who have decided they know you before actually getting to know you. And if they have committed to this, then no explanation is going to change that anyway. These people can't even put their pride aside and their intimidation or whatever the hell it is and make an effort to actually get to know you and get their questions answered. No, they have committed to misunderstanding. And why would you want people like that in your life anyway? So protect your peace. You're not responsible for managing people's reactions to your silence. If your calm offends their chaos, then again, that's their work to do. You should only be open when you feel safe and when you feel comfortable. You don't have to force yourself to be extroverted to make others feel comfortable. That's not your job. Create space for the people who actually see you and take the time to get to know you, and keep space for the people who have. And to close us out, To the people who feel offended by someone being quiet and to themselves, you need to ask yourself why silence offends you in the first place. Why does someone else's stillness make you feel uncomfortable? What does that say about you? Instead of assuming the worst, try asking, try getting to know people. You might find out that this person who you think is being an ass is actually cool as hell. But you'll never know that if you continue to let your insecurities speak louder than your curiosity. And you may be thinking, well, why am I the one that has to try and get to know this person? Because you are the one who is bothered. 9 times out of 10, this person you are judging is in their own world, not worried about you or thinking what you assume. You are the one who clearly has a problem with their silence when this person is literally just minding their own business. So why don't you find out? Find out. Silence isn't rude, it isn't arrogance, it isn't rejection. Sometimes it's literally just peace, and apparently everyone isn't built for that. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Pretty Talk. If you relate in any way, feel seen, or just needed this, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear from you guys and read about any personal experiences you guys may have down below. Until next time, stay pretty. Bye.